Town Council, Monday, November the 18th at 2:00 p.m. in Council Chambers. The first item on the agenda would be the adoption of minutes from previous meetings, including public hearing minutes. So we have Committee of the Whole minutes from November the 4th, regular open minutes from November the 4th, public hearing minutes from November the 12th, and public meeting minutes from November the 12th. Is there any additions or council input into those minutes? Hearing none, they will be adopted by consensus. With no business arising from prior minutes. Looking at the adoption of the agenda, including late items, there is a late item coming forth. It will come up under Business 4, under 89th Street Paving Budget Reallocation. Any further input into the agenda? Hearing none, it will be adopted by consensus. No delegations today. Over to water matters. Water accounts in the amount of $6,061.15 for approval. Councilor Moreira, Councilor Laranjo. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Moving into correspondence. Correspondence G1. A report from the Okanagan Basin Water Board regarding the November 2013 meeting highlights. Any comments from council on that report? Okay, that will be received by consensus, please. And the Kiwanis Club of Osoyoos, share the Christmas spirit. Over to council, please. Councilor McCordoff.
Yes, thank you. The Kiwanis Club provides Christmas assistance to needy families in Osoyoos every year, and they sponsor they get individuals or businesses or families to sponsor a family in the community, provide gifts and food for Christmas. The family does not know who the sponsor is, and the sponsor is not given the name of the family. It's kept totally quiet, and so that kind of helps. I think it's probably a very worthwhile project. As from what I remember, the Kiwanis Club helped 36 families, or did 36 different boxes for Christmas last year. So I think it's a great idea. I'm just wondering if the town hall people in here might be interested in sponsoring a family. I would be happy to help with that. If I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Administration, that we can proceed with this. I would think.
Yes, we can ask the staff through email or through our various contacts through the directors if in fact they'd like to make a donation towards this.
Sure. Sure. Okay. Any other councillors coming forward to back up, take the second position from Councillor McCordoff?
I'll be happy to look after it.
Okay.
To
Okay.
Help with that. Sure.
I'll put some effort into that too if you need anything there. So we'll, and this would be for one
family.
One family. Okay. I don't think we've done this program before, have we?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Well, let's go in and do the one, and hopefully we can improve and maybe do a couple more if this is a success. It should be successful. It looks like it's pretty straightforward.
Would you like me to contact the Kiwanis, or would that be up to Mr. Emenko?
Do you make contact before or after you know what the donations would be?
The contact would be to accept a family, and that's what you would do. You would say, yes, we will take one family and look after purchasing things for them. And I'm not sure how how that works, but I could certainly phone the Kiwanis and ask them.
Certainly, if you would like to take that on, that'd be fine.
I'm doing it myself as well, so I'd be happy to do that. I could talk to Donna.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And then you can just send us an email with any relevant facts that we would need to know to pass on to the staff.
No problem.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, Councillor McCordoff. The next item then would be the Association for the Protection of Fur-Bearing Animals. What are council's wishes on that? probably notice to receive would be appropriate, and that would be adopted by consensus. Thank you. Bylaws, Board of Variance Amendment Bylaw number 129501, 2013, for final adoption. Mr. Romanko?
Yes, thank you. On February 4th, Council adopted the attached Osoyoos Board of Variance Bylaw number 1295, 2013, which established a Board of Variance using members from the Regional District Board of Variance. Recently, it came to our attention that a clerical error was made in the bylaws citation and repeal section. To correct this error, the bylaw number and date needs to be changed in section 10B from bylaw number 992, 1987 to the correct bylaw number 864, 1992. On November 4th, Council read the Board of Variance Amendment Bylaw 1295.01, 2013 for the first, second, and third time. We're recommending now the Council proceed with adoption of the Board of Variance Amendment Bylaw number 1295.01, 2013.
Thank you. Councilor? Councilor Portoff?
Yes, I'd like to move that we proceed with the adoption of the Board of Variance Amendment Bylaw.
Seconder, Councilor Ryan. Any discussion on this? All in favor? Opposed? That carries. Going to business, Reclaimed Water Booster Station Tender Award. Director of Operational Services, Mr. Doucette.
Thank you very much. Back in March of 2013, as part of our budget, we got the approval to go and build our booster station for our reclaimed water. We have it was tendered out. We received all the tenders, and was not awarded due to the fact that the school did not sort of was uncertainty of getting their fields irrigated with our reclaimed water. And part of this tender included the booster station and also the line to the high school. It seems that the high school is going to be come on board, but regardless, this booster station is also to send the reclaimed water to the airport. So what we're asking right now is basically to accept the tender that was provided back in 2013 with some changes that you will see from Mr. Underwood's report as well. That was the second part of the report. And as you know, like I say, this booster station will be part of the overall plan and very important for our system. So at this time, like I say, we are basically looking for council's approval to accept the tender as per the changes from Mr. Underwood's report. And the reason to do it now, it's all going to be done, and they want to start in 2014 in January, but they want to get going with their equipment and ordering the parts and everything else at this point, so that we can be hopefully ready in the spring for extra areas. Part of the 2014 budget would also be the line from the lagoon to the booster station and from the booster station to the airport, which will also include. But that booster station is basically the key to our expansion future.
Okay, so the report from True on October the 30th, that was just making sure that the March the 7th figures and what they bid on then was correct.
That's exactly right. There was a few additions because of the timing and everything else, but basically that's, and then there was some tax things that had to be changed,
right.
But basically that figure that you see there of 400,000 or 399, 494 is what we're looking for.
And the first time around, was that within our budget parameters that we had for that program?
I believe it was, yes.
Okay, okay. And so this is a lock-up pump station now. This is the building and the pump and everything
That's
ready
right.
to go.
Yeah, that's right.
So effluent could go, well, we don't have the pipe to the airport.
No,
but
no, that's right too. Yeah, nor the pipe to the lagoon.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but
Okay.
this was, like I say, the start of it, to get that going, and then the following year get the pipe to it, and then also to the airport.
Where
Yes.
physically would it be, roughly? By the dog park in there, or am I?
No, it would be probably closer to the right entrance to the tennis court.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anything from council on this, please? Councillor Ryan.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I was just, the tender wasn't attached, so I looked at my, my book from our deliberations for budget, and I have the reclaimed water irrigation supply system expansion, the booster station, and service to the high school as phase 1. So I was wondering how this number and this total corresponds to what we had in our budget book under that particular item. I was interested in where it's physically going to be, but also what will it consist of? Because the my reading of the budget book is that the building of the booster station itself, without the irrigation and supply mains and so on, was about $280,000. So I'm just wondering how all these numbers coincide, or how they relate to one another.
I'm not sure. I know the booster station was one part, but also the other part was, like I say, the line to the high school. So that was all in one. And you're saying that that figure is
You're saying this does not include the line to the high school?
Yes.
Or it does.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
It does include it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this
According to the information that I received, that does
would
also
be about
does it.
another $35,000 according to the budget book. So I'm just not sure how the numbers all add up and how they relate to what we looked at earlier in the year.
Okay, I don't have the book in front of me, that one, but I know that the information that we've got here, as far as what Terry gave us, I'm not sure what was excluded in that part of it.
Yeah, I'd just like to know a little more before I vote on things of this magnitude.
Yeah.
Wonder if we could defer this until later in the meeting, or to
I think that
have a little recess and at some point and come back to it, Mr. Mayor.
okay. Thanks, Mr. Zachary. You need a mic on there too, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. So I just brought down the budget book. The total project for phase 1.
What page are we on?
Oh, I
please?
gotta catch my breath. Page 163. The total budget for that project was $657,000 for that. Of course, a portion of that is the construction portion of that, and the other portion of that is engineering and contingency. So what we see is...
Excuse me, I'm not on the same page. 163 is not in my book.
Okay.
Do I have the wrong budget book?
I've got the one from January 30th.
Okay, this is February the 6th.
See where you're at? Yep, so just turn to the service.
Okay.
Okay, so one more page over.
Okay, well, I was looking back here.
Yep, so this is what I'm talking about right here.
Okay, the 657, yeah, okay.
Thanks, Mr. Zachary.
That's okay. So as you can see, a portion of this is showing the construction portion of that, and down at the bottom of the budget page shows you your contingencies and engineering fees. So that being said, when this was tendered out back earlier this year, it got tendered out in 2 different components.
Right.
The first one was for the piping aspect of it. The second one was for the building pump and building component of it. Because of the high school not being on board at that time, that was the delay in even bringing it forward.
Okay.
I believe that's changed. That situation has changed.
Improving, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's changed. Yes.
So I hope that answers.
I don't think it does. At least I'm not following where we got the numbers. So if we look at the page that you're looking at, the 1.1 is a connection to the supply chlorine contact basin. We're not doing that.
That's correct.
We're not doing that. So we're not doing the supply main to the golf course maintenance buildings.
We're doing basically all of 1.4,
Okay,
which is a substantial portion of that.
right.
And then you add in the 30% for contingencies, or I mean, not contingencies, but engineering in that.
A portion for engineering, okay. Okay. Yeah. All right, and that comes out to the, it comes out to 399.5.
350, 330, 360, 375. Just quick math on 1.4, I get 390, just adding that up.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, and thanks, Mr. Zackel. We probably could have deferred it till the next meeting, but it's nice if the company knows that it can go ahead with it, so.
Yeah.
So, okay. Council's wishes on this, please. I'm looking for a recommendation. Councilor McCordoff.
Yes, I will move that we go with option 1 to tender the construction in the amount of $399, $495, $494, and 55 cents.
Thank you. And that seconder would be Councilor Plant. Any further discussion on this? Councilor Ryan, you're satisfied?
I am, yes, thank you
Okay.
for that.
Okay, great. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Opposed? That carries. Mr. Doucette, the
Thanks, Mr. Zacco.
right. This can go ahead. Thank you. Under business 2, the Sun Bowl Arena Management Agreement, a report from Director of Community Service, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. The Sun Bowl Management Agreement has expired, and a council resolution is required for signing a new agreement. The Sun Bowl Management Agreement is based on the ratio of net converted value assessments for both the town and RDOS.
Can't hear you.
It's not working.
It has worked well for both parties over the years. The town and RDOS also have a recreation agreement in place, which council had asked about before. This agreement is similar in that the overall contribution for the RDOS is based on programming costs and was estimated at approximately 24%, which is based on population for Area A. This year, the town received $63,000. In 2014, we will receive $66,000. And in 2015, we will receive $69,000. And the recreation agreement will expire in 2015. This is separate from the Sun Bowl Management Agreement.
Okay.
In 2011, Council and the RDOS signed an arena conversion bylaw. This replaced the overall letters patent, which allows the agreement to have a maximum borrowing amount of $500,000 without having going to an alternate approval process for further borrowing to balance the budget. The RDOS has requested a minor change to the draft agreement. They inquired about a self-renewing option. Having this type of renewal can expedite the agreement process, and if we need to address any potential issues or concerns, we can address them before it is automatically renewed. Staff is recommending that it get automatically renewed every 5 years as in the previous agreement. One change that Council had requested in the past was that the Area A Director be invited to at least one meeting per year or on an as-needed basis rather than once a month to discuss areas of mutual interest with regards to operations. This is included in the draft agreement. If Council moves forward with the agreement, the Community Services Manager of the RDOS will bring the draft agreement to the next available RDOS board meeting for approval. So in terms of implications for the community, the Sun Bowl Arena has been part of the community for 40+ years and is home to the South Okanagan Minor Hockey, Osoyoos Figure Skating Club, and of course the Osoyoos Coyotes. An organization having a self-renewing agreement would expedite the process. Significant dates, ASAP, the RDOS will execute the agreement at the next available board meeting if Council approves. And in terms of the options, option number 1, for Council to approve the draft agreement and forward to the RDOS for signing. Option number 2, do not approve the self-renewing option and approve the draft agreement with a 5-year end date or another fixed term. And option number 3, direct staff to negotiate further changes to the draft agreement with the RDOS. And the recommendation before Council is option number 1.
Thanks, Mr. Davis. I have a couple of questions here, and I don't think I understand how this works. So this is for the management of the Sun Bowl Arena.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, and that's been going on forever. Now, what's this about the recreation agreement? That's the programs in all of the town, or?
That is correct. Yeah, that would be based on our programs that we run through the Sonora Center
Okay.
outside of the arena.
Okay, outside of the arena?
Outside of the
So
arena.
that's outside of the arena, and then this is the Sunbowl management contract?
That is correct.
Okay, now, and the town manages that?
Yes.
And the RDOS owns the building?
That is correct, and we own the land that the building is on.
You can see why I don't understand it. Okay, so then this agreement is about the management, but it doesn't have dollar figures in there. That comes up separately as a budget item.
That is correct. It's based on, like it said at the very beginning, which is something I wouldn't be fully versed in either, but is based on assessment in
Right.
both the RDOS and the community.
Right.
And those numbers every year would change.
Right?
So percentage-wise, 24 to 30% for the
Sure.
RDOS, the remaining to the town.
Right.
And that number is anywhere from, say, 120 to 150, and then for the town up to 300,000.
Right.
The total for both can't be more than $500,000, and that's what was brought back to council in 2011.
Okay.
And if it is, the alternate approval process would have to be in place.
So that would be the yearly operating.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay. I think I get it. Mr. Remenko.
Yeah, I hopefully we didn't confuse council with the inclusion of the recreation paragraph there. We were just trying to address an earlier question that council had about our regional district's contribution to the recreation side of program operations. So we took it upon ourselves to try and kind of kill two birds with one stone.
No, thank you for that. That triggered all this, and I think that was my question as to what did go into recreation other than the Sun Bowl, because the Sun Bowl one is fairly fixed. It's okay. Council, please, Councilor Ryan.
Yes, thank you. So in terms of the self-renewing and the review at the 5-year point, this will be, if approved, this will be year 1.
That is correct.
And then in 5 years, we'll look at to see whether the 500,000 is an adequate amount.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other dialogue? Okay, I need that motion, please. Councilor Plant coming forward, Councilor Ryan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, opposed, carried.
Thank you.
Another interesting topic that's relatively new to everybody is our new landfill operations services under the Multi-Materials BC. And we're heading into a mandatory contract with Multi-Materials BC. It's going to have some changes for everybody, and the lead on this be Mr. Remenko, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. And I'll just use the MMBC, which means Multi-Materials BC, to go through this report for the viewers. So MMBC has developed a producer-supportive incentive program that will see additional recyclable projects picked up at the curbside with a starting date of May 19th, 2014. Additional recyclable products may be also collected through private depot locations. This program is scheduled to start May 19th, 2014. However, a municipal decision to become involved in the program had to be made prior to September 16th. The options that were made available by MMBC to municipalities included: 1, that local governments can choose to accept the MMBC's offer; 2, local governments can choose to decline the offer. MMBC would be responsible to meet the performance requirements to set out in the PPP stewardship plan, and that's the Provincial Packaged Paper Stewardship Plan. And so basically those two options were 1, we can accept the offer; 2, if you don't accept the offer, then MMBC would come and set up the service themselves. Also, local governments currently providing the PPP curbside collection services may decline the offer and notify MMBC and the Department of Environment that they wish to continue to provide the curbside collection services at their own cost. At its August 19th Committee of the Whole meeting, Council received a briefing from Cam Bowen, the Solid Waste Coordinator for the Regional District. Cameron is the our Regional District lead on this program and has been working with member municipalities to increase awareness of the program and develop an approach that will best suit the region as a whole. At its September 3rd, 2013 closed meeting, Council was provided another briefing on the MMBC recycling program and general impacts on the operations of recycle pickup and handling at the town landfill. Council was asked to provide an indication of intent to enter into a contract with MMBC to become a contractor to provide pickup of recyclables and receiving recyclables at the landfill. Council passed the following motion with additional direction to make this motion public at the September 3rd, 2013 meeting. The following motion was made public at the September 3rd, 2013 regular meeting, and that was moved by Councilor Rhodes and seconded by Councilor McCordoff. Resolved that the MMBC be informed that town wishes to partake in the MMBC program and continue to negotiate a new contract with BFI with a deadline date subject to the final deadline for notification to MMBC, and that administration be provided with BFI contract negotiation, non-negotiable or direction for future negotiation discussions. Currently, the town is annually paying BFI Waste Management $37 per household for the pickup and processing of single-family household recyclables from the 1,892 single-family units. MMBC is providing the town with the opportunity to receive the following annual payments in the new processor developed program. First one is $32 per household annual collection incentive if the town continues to act as the collector agent within the new MMBC program, 75 cents per household for education allowance, $2.50 per household administration fee, depot collection fees as follows, $80 per ton for glass, $175 per ton for polyfoam packaging, white and colored, $60 per ton for cardboard, and $90 per ton for other paper, metal, and plastic packaging. Also, we're eligible for 25 cents per home from Area A RDOS homes for receiving curbside collection. In the event that the town doesn't continue as the collector, MMBC will tender the collection of recyclables separate from our garbage. To enter into the MMBC program, there is a need to change our existing contract with BFI, the actions of which is made difficult because MMBC has separated the collection and processing functions. This action resulted in BFI losing the revenue from the sale of recycled products. BFI has expressed an interest in negotiating the contract in such a manner that they can make up the shortfall in the revenue. BFI has the opportunity to apply to become a program processor, but the results of that decision will not be known till the new year. Administration has met with BFI, however, no concerted effort has been made to discuss the contract language. So that's the background. Any questions on the background?
Yes. So with when we don't know with what BFI is doing, there could be they've lost money in this operation at this point, so they obviously are going to come back and the rates are going to have to go up. So how is that going to affect us?
Well, they in the discussions with them, there's a general feeling that they want to proceed under the current contract. Now, again, that'll be tempered whether or not they become an after processor under the MMBC program. It's quite complex relative to the processing of the product, because right now the general feeling is that they're losing money on that. There's what's referred to as a green wall that's been set up, that a lot of recyclables are not leaving the country. They're being stored. So you know, it's to the point that one of their negotiation items is that, yes, any monies we lose, one of the points in the existing BFI contract is the option to extend for 2 years. So what they're saying is, well, you know, we can, if you extend a contract for 2 years, that'll help us out in terms of the shortfall that we are experiencing, because we're losing the revenue from the processed product. But that, and again, is a negotiation in process. So we may have to bring back to council the option of extending for 2 years. We may have to bring back an option to try and get a buyout out of that particular contract. So that's a work in progress that we hope to have resolved, I would think, before the end of the year.
Okay, so that's rather a strange position to be in. They're saying we're losing money, extend our contract, we'll lose more money.
Well, the thing is,
we won't lose. I know where.
Yeah,
where
because they're picking up garbage as well.
Okay.
You know, with the dual truck system,
right,
and so you have to take a look at the big picture and all the work that they're doing for us, and their sense is that like they've amortized their vehicles over the term of the contract, right, based on the 2 functions. Okay. So they you know, and you know, they have a legitimate case.
Okay.
And so, but for all intents and purposes, they're telling me and telling all the member municipalities in the regional district that they do want to come to the table and be fair about this, because they want to be a part of you know, future services and developing that business relationship with us.
Okay, so and this MM, this is the material manufacturers, yes, that are behind this and brought through the provincial government.
Yes, this is another recycling program. We have a number of recycling programs that are currently working in the province, things like your tire recycling, your recycling of refrigerators. This is another program like that. The people who are paying the freight on this, the $32 per household, are actually all the corporations that create the packaging. Okay. So or the product. So you will have newspapers will be paying more. Will be paying into this product. All the packagers, and that's why you know, one of the changes that will be coming about with the new program is that the new program will not take plastic bags, because plastic bags are a product of the grocery stores. Right. They're not a product of the packagers. Okay. So, and besides the fact they clog up their machines and things like that, they're quite expensive to deal with. So that's one of the reasons that there's the change in some of the program content. But certainly the program content is expanded through the inclusion of things like polyethylene, the styrofoam, and which is a huge contributor. Sure, sure.
Then when we look at the pricing, just at the bottom of where we stopped, the $32 a household and all that, so that ends up to be the 37, like we're revenue neutral or plus a bit, or.
Well, I get into that in the second part, but yeah, with the they're paying us 32, we're paying 37 now. Right. So we have a $5 split that we have to try and make up, and we would make that up through our utility fees, our waste fees. So that would be the start. The report goes on to basically say we'll, in our budgeting processes, have to take a look at, okay, there's a $5 start. What are the other impacts that this program will have that we will add to that $5? For example, there's quite an extensive fine program that, again, the MMBC says we're not going to initiate that right away or anything like that. So we have to position the municipality in the sense of comfort that we have our $5 covered off. We have potential fines. There may be some investments we have to do now or in the future to make up the program. One example is that ultimately they want to make a move to container pickup, and the existing contract says that we have to pay for the containers. Well, how would we do that? So when we get into our budgeting process, we will take a look at coming up with a number to bring to council to say, right now we're charging the community $37 for recycling pickup. They're saying we can't double dip, can't charge double. So what is that number? Is it $10 per household that we have to charge, or $15 as opposed to $37?
Okay, great. Yeah. Councilor Ryan.
Thank you. A couple of questions. The depot collection fees, will we be eligible for those because of what we do collect at our
That's
our
right.
landfill?
Yes, and maybe I should. That's how much we'll be eligible for in terms of the depot collection fees. But again, there are impacts on our depot. We have to change the way we do business in some ways.
And further to that, this 25 cents per home in the RDOS, because the RDOS does have access to our landfill, then that 25 cents would come to us as well.
That's right, and so they'll continue to take their recycling to us, and then 25. There's not a lot of money in that.
No, exactly, no. Every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor McCorda.
Yes, could I ask, there seems to be a change in some of the products that are going to be allowed. How is that going to affect, like the styrofoam things?
Well,
how is that going to affect our landfill?
Well, it actually will. The fact that now styrofoam will be recycled will help our landfill, because it won't go into the landfill. So
Okay.
there are significant advantages to this program in the short term and the long term for us, and the life of our landfill as well.
And glass as well, that was also mentioned, so that I
Yeah,
don't think they normally pick up
Yeah, we
glass.
don't do glass pickup, so we won't do glass pickup, but it still will be available at the landfill. And the second component is that we may not be the only depot in town. The private sector can also set up depots to take in all this material, and then they would be eligible for these funds as well. However, the storage requirements for these types of bins and that is quite significant, and so one would have to take a look at where could this happen in the community.
Councilor Ryan.
Yes, I had one final question on this. The fees that they've set out, is there, I don't know if we've seen any of their contracts yet from MMBC, but would they be reviewing those periodically? Have they made that a provision of the contract that these fees would be adjusted from time to time?
According our contract, and this is another, I guess, product of what comes to council at budget time, is that the existing contracts that are attached, there is no CPI, there's no consumer price index costing increase. Therefore, we'll have to work that into the program, the budget program, because BFI will continue to pick up the recycling for us. They'll basically be subcontracting, and their contract, there is a CPI. So there is an annual increase in the fees. So all these things, all these costs will have to be considered when we start looking into the budgeting process. Okay, so on into the overview.
Take a big breath.
Yep. Okay, concerns have been expressed by various municipalities about the MMBC program. This concern was heightened to action at UBCM by passing a motion and setting up a negotiation committee with a mandate to seek a 90-day extension to the contract date and to make changes to the contract terms and conditions. Attached is a letter from the Deputy Minister of the Environment that speaks to the UBCM concerns. A highlighted summary of the letter would be that the time frame for the implementation of the program is provincial regulation that mandates MMBC to implement in May 2014. So although municipalities were going and asking MMBC to extend the date, they couldn't, because the date was set by the province in regulation. So it would take a long time to change that regulation. A second concern expressed by the municipalities are addressed in the MMBC approved stewardship plan. So there were a number of concerns expressed, but basically what the province was saying is take a look at the plan, and all your concerns are addressed there in terms of targets. And the next bullet speaks to that if MMBC didn't meet those targets, they were going to be fined. So all MMBC was doing was pushing the responsibilities down to the municipalities, which were the contractors. And in fact, we would do the same thing with BFI. We would push those responsibilities down. In fact, many of the responsibilities are very similar with our current contract. But what you're doing is you're getting into various types of contract language that, yeah, it's the same, but it's not the same. But the performance plan and contracting within the overall plan should address the municipality's concern. And then they just restated the actions available to communities, which was, well, you're given an option. If you don't want in, that's your choice. A few municipalities have identified they will not be accepting the MMBC proposal. Their rationale includes concerns about the contract language, level of service delivery, and their current investment in service manpower or infrastructure. Acceptance of MMBC requires the town of Osoyoos to enter into 3 contracts. Those contracts are attached within this report. They are a master services agreement, a statement of curbside collection, and a statement of depot collection services. Concerns relating the contract language being MMBC slanted and terms and conditions have been expressed by administration to MMBC's representatives in 2 separate meetings. To the credit of MMBC, they have issued and continue to issue change orders to the final contract documents based on feedback from municipalities. The MMBC challenge relates to developing a consistent contract for all municipalities, and they want a generic, and that's difficult to do, but they've come a long way, and they've actually listened to us in a lot of ways. When they must have had their lawyers do the most slanted contract available, and in our pushback, and I say ours, I mean a lot of municipalities pushback, we've noticed some language and articles that really are not good contract language for anybody to sign. It is the view of the administration that the following points are the most significant changes in contract language included or will be included in the final documents based on our discussions. The first one is the Master Services Agreement, Section 13.1, termination for convenience. Now, this clause provides for a 180-day window to cancel a contract. That clause was not in there when we started negotiations. It was a one-way. If we want to cancel, we'll cancel, and you guys are tied into a 5-year contract. So that's changed. That's a major win. Well, it's a major concession that they made to move us ahead. Second point, although not so much impacting us, but maybe some other municipalities, is that the initial contract didn't allow for latecomers. It's like they came out and said, take it now, or you got to wait 5 years to buy in. So that put a lot of pressure on municipalities as well. They're in the process of doing some language that allow for latecomers to come in. There are several clauses that related to operations and service levels that provide MMBC kind of a micromanagement approach. And in discussion with MMBC staff, these issues will be addressed in operational policy. That's a work in progress. And these are things that, you know, they were telling us how to run our landfill, but at the same time, you can understand why. But the contract language was so strict; it was like, you will do this, you will do that. But they, you know, in discussions with them, it's like our policy will be a lot more liberal relative to that. And again, in discussions with them, they've identified various areas that gave us more comfort that that's what in fact will happen. The contract language initially identified for pickup of recyclables in containers. However, they have agreed that they're going to allow us to continue in our existing format of picking up in blue bags or transparent bags. So that'll be included in the document as well, and we just worked out the language for that last week. Another change that came out after the report actually was that we readdressed insurance clauses. They were making insurance demands that were quite unreasonable, so there will be some changes in the contract documentation relative to that. So it's come a long way. It's still a work in progress, and realistically, the working with them has been pretty good. They are listening, but we have to recognize their bigger issue of trying to get a generic where they don't want to have to negotiate with 150 municipalities. Well, you got that type of thing. But we are working towards developing that sense of comfort in our language. In terms of implications to the community, the MMBC program provides for broader range of recycled materials to be picked up at the curbside or dropped off at private sector locations. The challenge for the private sector will be having sufficient amounts of operational space to meet the separation needs of the new program and the control of recyclable materials. The community will have to embrace more education programs and increase separation of recyclables at the landfill to assist in meeting program goals. Of concern is a lack of private sector contract interest in providing a formal recycling program for multifamily dwellings. And we don't have a formal multi-family dwelling program. So we're still, the opportunity was there for private sector, the private sector to come in and make a bid on Osoyoos, and nobody did. So that may be something that we have to take a look at in the future, because there is a fair amount of recycled material that comes out of multifamily in this community. Yeah. Organizationally, the implementation of this program will require greater resource implementation by the administration and landfill operations. Among the needed actions will be: 1, education programs will have to be developed and implemented. There are changes. We're going to have to get people on side knowledgeable about these changes, and hopefully they'll follow the processes, because as I mentioned earlier, there is a fine that will be leveled against the town as the contractor if the level of contamination is beyond 3%. And so, for example, they'll take a load out of Osoyoos. They may do occasional checks, spot checks. They dump the load in the area that it's for sorting. They find more than 3%. That load's ours. Like, what are we going to do with it? It's contaminated. We're fined, and then we got to deal with that load that's dumped someplace and probably, I would suspect, in Penticton. So that's pretty significant. So we're going to have to get our citizens on side.
Would that be by weight or by volume?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
Sorry. We're doing well so far.
Yeah. So there's going to have to be changes in monitoring, control, and separation of product at the landfill. Again, we have our recycling bins set up. People drop their blue bags. They have their plastics. They have their cardboard and all that. It's all in one bag. They drop it in. Now, because we're being paid on a different rate for different products, there's an advantage to having the cardboard totally separated from the plastic. And the other thing is that if you can work a separated load or a mixed load. If you're going to do a mixed load, there's a 25% surcharge that is taken off your fee. So I've been in discussions with the landfill already, and it looks like we're going to have to move the recycling on the other side of the scale. There's going to have to be greater monitoring. and hopefully people will get the message that it has to be separated more. So there'll be increased responsibility as a contractor that we may or may not be able to pass on to our subcontractor because of our existing agreement, increased reporting and invoicing, greater attention to detail and contract management relationship with both MMBC and BFI. The MMBC contract allows the town to continue at its current level of bi-weekly recyclable pickup in blue or clear plastic bags. Additional administrative time will have to be spent working out issues relating to the BFI contract. Budget. The Statement of Work Contract, Section 6, Article 6.1, doesn't allow for the concept of double charging for the Statement of Work. However, administration will have to review the operational impacts of the Statement of Work to determine the impacts on existing recycling fees. As I mentioned earlier, it's $37 now, we're getting $32. So it could very well be that the amount of recycling fee that is charged to the actual single-family dwelling may be, and I just, as an example, I'm using just numbers, $10 per household, 15 as opposed to 37. We don't know what that number will be yet. The administration is specifically concerned about the impacts on the landfill operations with the need for greater customer engagement, potential site realignment, and infrastructure purchase or release. MMBC doesn't allow for consumer price index, which is a component of our current agreement with BFI. And the significant dates is that we must have the contract signed prior to November 30th, and program implementation date is May 19th, 2014. Again, sustainability, this is a major sustainable impact with increased pickup of recyclable materials resulting in a decreased use of the landfill and greenhouse gas development. So I've provided three options for council's consideration. Provide the administration with direction to sign the final MMBC contract documents prior to November 30th. The second is to wait to see what the final contract document prior to providing direction to sign and hold a special meeting of council prior to November 30th. And number three is inform MMBC that the town no longer wishes to be a part of the MMBC program. We're recommending option one. The final contracts documents are a work in progress and may result in changes into the final days prior to November 30th. The administration is monitoring specific contract language issues that concerns our operation and has received assurances that the final contracts will reflect the needed changes. Any concerns about being part of this program are tempered by the termination of convenience clause, and in terms of not, they've already issued a request for proposal based on Osoyoos being in the program. So there would be financial repercussions if we tried to pull out now.
Council, please. Looking for that. Let's get the recommendation out there. Councilman
Yes.
Fordon.
I would move recommendation one, that I feel comfortable that the administration could sign the final MMBC contracts prior to November 30th.
And seconded by Councillor Ryan. Discussion? I have a few questions still. On this, on the money, so we're now paying 37, they're gonna pay 32. That's not quite clean, there's some hanging around issues. So now we're going to be charging for $10 or $50. So that's a savings to the taxpayer.
That's a savings to the taxpayer plus an increase in service.
Plus an increase in service. And I must say that, I don't think we could say that getting excited about this, but the provision where they're going to remove polystyrene from our landfill. The landfill is all about space. It's about air, is what it's really about. And if that's probably one of the nastiest substances that we use. And if we can get that product and into a recycle program, and I know Regional District of North Okanagan, they went out and bought their own, and it's some sort of compression factor, and I think it just turns it into this solid blob, probably an oil product or something, and it just puts it all back with compression. But if we can get that out of our landfill, I think that's really a step forward. So there is some good things in it, and I can certainly see what you've been doing for the last 2 months. Any other comments on MMBC, Councillor Ryan?
Just trying to plug in my computer. That's
Okay.
why I wasn't going under the desk. I think it's a good thing. I mean, I know that the contract has come for a lot of criticism, but I think our administration is doing a good job of leveraging some changes. I guess I would just say two things. Just reinforce what Mr. Romenko said about education. That's very important. I don't have a single family home. I live in a condo where we have to collect it, and we have to have I guess we have BFI do it. But it's sad when you open that. The recycling is fine. I think most people know what to put in recycling. And when you open the garbage, is when you see just so much recyclable material, and it is just it's really depressing, really. And so the education is really important. And I hope that I will see the day when somehow we can collect from the multifamily units, because it seems to me that it makes a lot of sense to make one stop and pick up the recycling and so on of 57 people than to make 57 stops. So I do hope that that happens. But I think we really have to plan a very good program of education. The other thing is, I think that styrofoam is not something that we should tolerate. I think we should be working to have substitutes for styrofoam. I got a new sink for a bathroom, and it didn't have styrofoam around it. It had molded paper. It had kind of all kinds of paper molding that served the same purpose, but didn't have all the negative things that styrofoam has. So I'm hoping that through maybe in working with MMBC we can sort of move in that direction, that while they're paying for it, I would like to see that there are substitutes that are eventually replacing it.
This will probably, if they have to start taking back styrofoam, this will certainly be an incentive to find a better environmentally friendly product, that's for sure. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, opposed, sign the contract, Mr. Romenko.
Excellent report, by the way, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Very in-depth.
Okay, the addition to the agenda item, business 4, 89th Street paving budget reallocation. Director Doucette, please.
I think I'll carry this one. Okay. Actually, Ron and I did the report together, and he doesn't have a copy in front of him. So.
he does pretty well without copies.
Yeah. Okay, so this is speaking to a reallocation to enable the paving of 89th Street. The approved Forest Main project has a route down one lane of 89th Street and then cuts across the other lane to connect to Cactus Crescent. The road works, the repaving for the direct impact of the Forest Main development will be paid out of the water and sewer accounts. No plan was developed for restoration of the pavement that adjoins this road improvement or the remainder of 89th Street section. Council approved the development of road assessment plan in 2013. This document will be available in the near future, but no definite timeline at this time. Overview. The road works resulting from the Forest Main will leave an obvious difference in the quality of the pavement from Legion Beach to Cactus Crescent. Although the final road condition assessment in relation to other community roads is not available at this time, it is evident that the condition of 89th Street section between Legion Beach and Cactus Crescent warrants improvement. Improving the entire road section will improve the quality of the road and eliminate potential problems relating to joining of new and old pavement. The repaving of the entire roadway was not presented during the budget discussion due to the impact of the overall budget. Now that we are near the conclusion of our operating year, it is evident that sufficient funds are available due to surpluses derived from other completed projects or administration's ability to rechannel operating funds to this project as a higher operating priority. The estimated cost of the project is $72,000. Administration has reviewed the operating budget and determined that sufficient funds are available to complete the entire 89th paving from Legion Beach to Cactus Crescent. Funds can be redirected from the Community Development and Public Works operating budget. Funding for this project will be implemented as follows. Public Works, they have an overlay budget, $23,000, that has not been used. Road maintenance budget, $10,000, that can be allocated, leaving sufficient amounts of road maintenance to remain for the remainder of the year. And also we have funds in our community development budget that we feel that we're looking for the budget reallocation. So the options presented to council include continuing with the project as approved, meaning no additional paving of 89th Street, or second, move this item to, well, I guess this was out of the committee of the whole. The second would be that council reallocate the funds from the community development budget for the paving of 89th Street, and again the cost provided was approximately $72,000. So we would be looking for a motion, if council so wishes, that would allow us some flexibility to complete the project. You know, should we do some road work there and we find we have to do some fill or something, we don't have to come back to council for a few $1,000s.
Okay, council, please. Councilor Plante.
I just have a couple of questions. Are we, again, I haven't looked back at the thing. Do we have anything else that's going to be happening on 89th as we look into the future? Again, it's one of those things, you don't want to lay a good piece of pavement and have to tear it up again. Anything you see in the future that we may have to?
Not at this point, no.
Okay.
Water lines are in fine shape. Matter of fact, we redid some. We eliminated a line that was in the back from some of those people on 89, so that's a new line in that spot. Sewers are fine as far as gravity. Now we have a force main. Utilities, on the other hand, gas and those guys, that I don't know, but we can force them to be on the other side of the curb also anyway. So I don't see, at this point, I do not see that. And just add also, I did get not a glimpse, but I've heard that 89th, obviously, and the report that we're getting, is a street that needs repairs. And not only that, as you know, you mentioned this morning that it is a very busy road. And that also adds the number to get it done sooner than later. So it's money well spent, put it that way.
Councilor Ryan.
Well, I'd be prepared to make a motion that we do provide the extra funds. Did you want to separately deal with where the funds come from?
I guess what we would just ask for is a motion reallocating funds from the community development budget to this 89th Street road project. Again, council's choice whether you want to put it to a maximum or just leave it, and we'll we deal with it as once you tear up the pavement, you never know what you find sometimes.
Could we put a cap on that of 10% or whatever makes sense?
Yeah,
to a max.
Yeah.
Where are we? We're at 72 to a max of 80, or?
Sure.
Is that enough?
I think what we're looking for is yeah, we just we were planning to draw where was my number, 34,000. Yeah, 34,000, 10%. The rest of the money we'll make up out of our operations. So.
The other two amounts are solid.
Yeah.
So from the community development, it says 39 there now.
Oh, 39.
Okay.
Yep. So 30 plus 10%,
okay.
Within 10%. Yeah.
Or maybe just move that to $40,000 max from community development. You've got enough, but it's got a ceiling on
yep.
it also. That.
Okay.
because as you stated, you never know what you find in the ground. Although they have dug it all up.
Yeah.
Okay, so Councillor Ryan?
So we're saying that we approve the budget budget reallocation. We don't have to do it with the two that are already in the budget.
No, those are
roads.
general operating funds
okay.
that are directly related to road maintenance and operations. So
Okay.
our feeling is that they're good use of operating monies.
Funds, yeah, okay. And so we're talking 40,000 reallocated from the community development portion.
Well, actually, that if we were looking at that cushion, it would be, it's 39, that is.
Okay,
40.
okay, so
It would
40,
be
40 plus another 4, so 44,000 then, eh?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so I would so move that.
Okay. And seconder, Councillor McCordoff. Discussion, please.
So I think this is an important thing to do. I'm, you know, I really think that in future I hope we can flag these kind of things, and as well as future things that will be done in the roadway, so that we don't have this. But it's a very, very, very heavily traveled road, and I think from the look of the way the cut was made, clearly it goes from, you know, one side to the other, and so I think it'll be money well spent.
Councillor Blunt.
I would also like to say those are some of my concerns, as well as that. What is the finished product of these projects, and what we're getting for finished product, and how it kind of relates to the whole area? Because I think, again, yes, I agree. If we looked at where the patchwork would happen, it would look inconsistent and would really kind of mess up that whole road. However, knowing that we're going to probably go into that and do some of those, have to take out parts of those roads, what's the overall finishing product going to look like? And that's what we have to start to figure out a little bit sooner than getting this and going, okay, yeah, this doesn't make sense, we need to, but I think if we can look at that, what the future holds once that product is finished, if that's the finished product, does it work with, you know, with the whole area? So that's a little bit of my concern with this kind of the finished product of what we got.
And I think when we look at this process, and again, I think there's quite a bit to be learned here, and I really like the development of a roads assessment status report that we as Director Doucette and we as councillors can say, well, you know, that really shouldn't have been a patchwork piece. And I got some information, or not information, but my first queries came from folks in the neighborhood, and they were going, you know, that road isn't that. So then you go down and look at it, and it wasn't that good. And I think what happened is the project came in over budget. Well, when it's over budget, then you're paring things down. But I think with this roads assessment report, we're going to have the ability to say, you know, that thing should really be completely done rather than patchwork. Sometimes patchwork makes sense. If you were going down the middle and the left lane was going to be all done all the way or something, and it was nice and clean, that's fine. But this pipe crosses back and forth from one side of the road to the other, and there's wear ruts in the pavement. You know, you get those ruts, just that much traffic on there. So there's a real good reason, as Director Doucette said, that this really is a good bump up and a good use of dollars. And yeah, thank you. Councilor McCordoff.
Thank you. I just think that this road is used by so many people, town residents, rural residents, visitors, that we need to make sure that it looks good. And it certainly doesn't, the way it's going to be left now. So while it seems like a lot of money to spend in addition to what we've already spent, I think that that we absolutely need to do this. So I'm totally in favor.
Okay, well, that's 4 for 4. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Be a great addition to see that done as a nice solid piece of pavement there. Thanks, Director Doucette.
My pleasure. Better make a phone call.
Yeah, real quick.
I bet.
Real quick.
And of course, the weather forecast for 2 days from now is -14 or something, I hear. So yeah, right. Right. Okay, next item up on the agenda would be any notice of motion coming forward. Hearing none, we'll go into the reports, general Sun Bowl arena and payroll accounts, general and Sun Bowl cash requirements, general account $726,176.68. Sun Bowl accounts in the amount of $777,777.42, and for receipt payroll accounts in the amount of $66,366.52. Any comments on that? Hearing none, that would be adopted by consensus. Committee reports, any reporting out from any meetings? Hearing none, we'll go to CAO report, please. Mr. Remenko.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. Just a few of the items that our administration has been involved in the last couple of weeks, starting in the community services area. Actually going on all this week is an ice facility operators course at the Sun Bowl Arena. We have 12 registered participants from the region there, and we in fact are receiving a free in-house registration for it. It's worth $850. So this is a base level course that's required by anybody who is going to be working in an arena. So an important course to be had. Working on budget, the agreement that Council dealt with last week with the Arts Council is signed and currently underway. They have contacted the insurance company, and we're moving forward with repairs at Desert Park due to the water damage, and we'll be meeting this week as well with the Desert Park Exhibition Society to talk about some of their future needs for the building. And McMullen and Associates is doing a confined space workshop for staff today and tomorrow. Corporate Services finalized the Cottonwood lease license to use agreement that Council dealt with last week. Also prepared request for proposal documents for the janitorial services and also for Gyro Beach non-motorized water and sport activities. Prepared the town for carpet cleaning, and also set up the voluntary flu shot clinic for our staff. In terms of finance, working through, set up the fire department budget, and also met this week with the Osoyoos Rural Fire District to discuss the budget, reviewing the October accounts and reconciling all accounts. In planning and development, they had a first meeting of the new agricultural plan implementation committee, which is developing options for public input on implementing land use zoning issues identified in the plan jointly prepared by Area A and the town. And the agenda items included framing protection area, agritourism, accommodation units, farm worker housing and secondary suites, farm sales, and it's hoped that we can harmonize the agricultural zoning between the town and Area A. Also received a draft of the Gyro Park plan and provided some feedback on it, and we sent that back to our consultants, and we'll be bringing something to Council for the next meeting. Myself, I continue to work through the MMBC contract. Hopefully I won't have to say that acronym again today, and met with the landfill contractor to discuss potential operational impacts, ongoing linking with TELUS and their marketing with their program. Attended an airport expansion group committee meeting, and worked on the Spartan Drive property for summer parking, lease on that, extended lease period on that, and also we'll be bringing to Council for next meeting a new lease for their approval on the boat trailer parking area. So we've been able to finish that off as well. And again, met with the fire hall Rural Fire Protection District to discuss the fire hall project. So that's our report for today.
Great, thank you. Moving into councillor reports. First, Councillor Ryan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I'm going to ask indulgence to defer until the next time. I left after the meeting of the 4th of November and returned on the weekend preceding this meeting. So looking after one of my relatives of my sister who had a fall and who is in rehab doing some work to get back her mobility after that fracture. So I didn't have too much time to give a thought to town business, and but I'm glad to see things have. The only thing that seems to apparently have changed is the design of our council chamber, and so that's pretty minor, I guess.
Thanks, Councillor Ryan, and welcome back. Great to have you. Councillor Pont, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just going to say again another congratulations to a group. This weekend on November 16th, I had a chance to go to Kids Swap. It was a clothing swap that was held at the Sonora Center gym, and Santa Fletcher is who I want to thank, and the ladies who were all set it up. They invited us, the Splash Park Committee. I had a chance to set up there for donations. They had donations for every table that was occupied. And they had over 30 tables there with all different types of product and stuff for kids and people just wanting to get rid of some of their products. So it was really kind of fun to see some of the parents and the kids walking through there, and obviously kids coming out with a few new toys that mom and dad had to buy. But so I want to thank them. We raised over $200 in that little event. It was just from 1 to 3. So very proud of them and thank them for inviting us to come down there and being part of their little event. And look forward to more of those events and seeing our families out there and being able to provide some product and supplies that other families may need or looking for. So that's all I have for today.
Thanks, Councillor Pont. Councillor McCordoff.
Thank you. So a couple of things that I've attended, along with some other members of council and the mayor over the last couple of weeks. One was the Remembrance Day ceremony at the Sonora Center. Amazing to walk in there and see so many people from the town who took part in that ceremony. It's always very moving. We also had a public hearing, first of all, on the home business bylaw, which was passed, and we had a public meeting with several people coming out to express their concerns and their just an interest in developing or not the Wish property. I was also at a Destination Osoyoos board meeting. Since the Destination Osoyoos has now taken on not only tourism but economic development, it was a meeting where all of them got together and discussed several things, and I'm sure that we'll be hearing more from that. We had a group of them here this morning about the Desert Live Music Fest. Mayor Wells and I planted some tulips out front. I need to explain that because you probably saw it in the paper. Francis Solojuk from Home Hardware had ordered 1,200 red tulip bulbs to be planted in town because in 2014 it's the 50th anniversary of Home Hardware. I think Home Hardware in general, not just the Home Hardware here. And so she decided that that would be a good idea, so we quickly went and we planted 400 of them out in the front, and several of the members of Osoyoos Home Hardware planted some in the planters on Main Street. So it should look very nice come the end of March, I would expect. Mayor Wells and I also went and had breakfast with Alex Adamanenko and his wife one morning, and he's the MP who has, for our area, who has decided that after the next election he's going to step down. So it was very nice to be able to meet with him. This weekend, on to my theme of people can't say that there isn't anything to do in Osoyoos because there's plenty. As a matter of fact, there's more things than you can probably take in. On Saturday, there is the Seroptimists are putting on an event called Crackin' Me Up. It's a dinner and comedy night. Vancouver Theatre Sports are coming. The tickets have been selling quite well, I think, but there may be a few tickets left, and they're for sale at Imperial Office Pro. Also on the Saturday night, November the 23rd, I see that the Osoyoos Senior Center is having a Western dinner dance. So there's two options for you. Also, Winter in Wine Country is from November the 22nd to November the 24th. That's at several different wineries. I think you'd have to look in the papers or online to check what all of those things are, but there's several different options available. And up at Spirit Ridge, the Festival of the Trees is starting. So it's the 22nd to the 24th. I see the school band is playing. There are kids' activities. Santa is arriving at Spirit Ridge. So lots of opportunity for people to do things this weekend. And one more thing, the Osoyoos Festival Society is putting on, of course, Christmas Light Up. It's December the 6th and the 7th, and not many people have considered yet whether they'd like to be in the parade or not. So I'm encouraging people not to forget about this. It's only a couple of weeks off, and if you would be interested in being in the Christmas Light Up Parade, it's a great event, and I'll be explaining all about it the next time at council meeting, but all of the events that day. But please give Nancy a call or go to the Osoyoos Times and pick up a parade form. We would love to have you involved. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor McCordoff. Just a couple of things I'd want to talk about a bit, and I guess the first one was Remembrance Day, and a big thanks to Doc Ritchie and all the comrades from the Legion. It was just such a great Osoyoos service with the school band there, and there's a new bugler / trumpeter this year, and Brian Cudworth on the pipes, and it was just a real good remembrance of the people that had served this country. And again, it had that wonderful, good, proud Osoyoos feeling about it. So that's just a very, very special day. Councillor Plant talked about the splash park. As we're getting up to the end of the year, and I know there's many, many demands on people's dollars, Mr. Romanko showed me a list of the people that had donated to the splash park. And it wasn't about the amounts, and it wasn't about who, it was about who hadn't. And the list is quite short. And I said, really, that's all of the people that have donated to the splash park? And he said, yes. And I know that there's people out there that would like to, and I know that we're heading into that Christmas season and there are demands, but it's also coming up to the end of the year for some people that do have dollars and are looking, there's tax receipts available for this, and it would really be nice to see if there was another wave of people donating to the splash park. And if you can't make it now, maybe into the next year, because there is a plan to go into phase 2. So if we're going to go into phase 2, it'd be nice if we can get a little bit better kick at phase 1. So thanks for listening to that, please. On the calendar agenda, again, the public hearing and the public meeting. Did have a meeting with the airport committee, which is still going ahead, and we're basically still taking that same stand of it's not an Osoyoos tax dollar issue, but there are things that we can get accomplished as we look at whether this is feasible. In fact, the report that we're looking at right now is going to be a feasibility impact report, a financial feasibility impact report. So that's going forward. Mr. Romanko and I did meet with the one of the vice presidents of TELUS, of their marketing arm. Also, Councillor McCordoff and I met with Alex Adamanenko. Went to a Destination Osoyoos board meeting as they're melding with the Economic Development Society from the town of Osoyoos. and that seems to be moving ahead. I would like to, I'd sort of like to see it get going a little bit more, but you know, at this point right now, we're just feeling each other out, and of course, they're looking at what they're going to do for an executive director over there. That pretty well wraps up my issues for the week. I have this week I have a budget meeting, which is a full day Wednesday at the regional district, and then we have on Thursday have a full day of regional district governance model. So and I was there an extra day last week. So regional district's certainly taking up some time right now, but we are going through important issues and budgets and things like that. And I'm always looking to see how much the town of Osoyoos is paying and our share and all those things that we try to keep an eye on. So that is my report out to the public. Thank you very much. Motion to adjourn, Councillor Ryan Plant, all in favor? We're adjourned. Enjoy this weather because I understand it's going to get colder. Good afternoon.